What an exciting start to our day. The goal for today was to come outside and pull any of the Taylor junipers that were no longer living. So we pulled out a total of 3 here. These junipers had been being housed in these terracotta pots, and they succumbed to the stress and the situation of last year's heat wave, and just in addition to me neglecting my garden because of other things that were more important, and we were away from home for 30+ days. But I can give a list of why things did or did not work. Just not interested in doing that, just only interested in moving forward. Now, we reached that goal. So when I say goal, I'm challenging myself to come outside and do a 15 to 30 minute garden challenge every single day in my garden. And my goal has to be attainable, and I do not do anything else until I reach that goal, in hopes to turn my garden around, because right now it is on life support. Now, we got this accomplished. Even though I went over my 30-minute time span that I had allotted for this area here, it's no big deal, because that's just the first goal of today. The second goal is to go ahead and transition my patio area, get that area all cleaned up, and then from there, we're going to plant up a container. So let's get started. We're going to grab out these plant pedestals here. These are Campagna, and I absolutely love them. And they're going to fit perfect with the container. And this is usually the container that I use them for. Sometimes I will use 5. It just all depends. But for right now, we are going to just go ahead and use 4. Here is the container that we're going to use. I'm not sure if we're going to use the pot feet or not. We could get away with it, but really where this container is going at, let me grab this planter. It's concrete and super heavy. I absolutely love to use this one. It's so beautiful. I'll just push this container back in here. I have to kind of keep it at an angle in order for it to fit in this cabinet here. We are not going to use the pot feet. I feel like it's a little bit too light, although we do have the aging in it. It's definitely not a fit. Sometimes I will mismatch them, but for the most part, depending on where they're going, I kind of like it to be an even flow or very, very close to it. This is off. We could get away with it, but we're going to go ahead and pass. As of right now, here is the compilation of plants that we're going to use. So we have a hydrangea, which is a blue hydrangea, but you can see it has more of that purple undertone. And then we also have a hydrangea that's more on the bluer tone, which is completely fine because it's going to really make the look, okay? Then in addition to that, we have a pink sorbet viola. And then we also have a beautiful ranunculus. I love using the ranunculus because the ranunculus, to me, they almost give a rose depending on which way or stage they're sitting in. Sometimes they give a peony feel. I mean, I absolutely love them. And then what I like most about your ranunculus is no matter what stage they are in, as far as bloom wise, you just always get a show. So here we have a ranunculus that is a lot tighter, but you can see it's still gorgeous and beautiful. And then here is one that is more open. Again, still beautiful. And then you see right here, we have one that's fully open. And I like how we're pulling out that green on the inside of the white ranunculus here. So absolutely perfect. You may be thinking that it's no way it's going to fit. But if we take one of the root balls here, you can see that we have quite a bit of room here. So when I am looking at containers that are a low bowl, I like to make sure that when I look at them, we have some room for our root balls to just rest. And because of the design of the container here, it makes it very easy to accomplish this. So they did a very good job because you can see the edging here is what makes our inside bed for our planter, and it's going to give us a lot more space than you think that we have inside of this container. So let's plant this beauty up. Now we do have a single drain hole inside of this container, and we are going to go in and we're going to cover up our drain hole with a little bit of soil. That way we know that when we water, our soil is going to stay inside of the pot, and then our water is going to be able to leach out. That way it doesn't make a mess on the table. So you can use screen, you can use coffee filter, you can use screen and a coffee filter depending on how sensitive the material is that you're setting your container on top of. And so this is just one of the things that I like to do for my containers. Now we'll get to planting this beauty up. I feel like I need a little bit more room to work. So these are some willow branches that we are propagating. We'll do a root check-in on these and I'll show you how they're looking in just a bit. But for right now, we are going to set this out of the way. Now I feel like we have a lot more room to get this planter planted up and don't have to worry about the obstruction of the view from the willow branches there. They're gorgeous, but right now the focus is totally on this beautiful container that we're going to plant up. We're going to start off by getting some soil in here. All right, here is an overhead view of what we're looking like. So we have our beautiful violas here. We have our hydrangeas. You can see we have some that's going to come out. So right here, I can already tell this is a bud being formed right here. So that's going to come out and it's going to give us a luscious bloom. But keep in mind that our ranunculus has not even sprouted up. So this is going to look like a large bouquet of flowers. I absolutely love it. And you can see we have our hydrangeas in various stages. So we have ones that are just budded up, still in the chartreuse phase. And then we have ones that are larger. So I absolutely love this. Just gorgeous. All right, now let's go ahead and plant up another planter. We do have some burn here. And what I want to do is I want to go in and we're going to start to trim back our hyacinth that's inside of here. And so real easy, what I do is I'll leave the one that looks good and the one that looks bad. I just come in and I trim that off. It's real simple and easy to accomplish. And so now our violas will take center stage here. And I absolutely love it. And this is why I love to use violas and pansies in my containers, because they just put on the most florific show here. What we're going to do, we are going to leave these out now. No need to keep them covered at this point. But this is an opportunity now to go in, clean our window box up. And so you'll begin to start to see our transition to the next show here. Real quick, I'm going to show you how we're going to do this. Follow it all the way down, and then we're just going to clip. Child, this is the biggest weed, honey. Okay, I think we can get it. Well, let me hurry up and water and get away from this tree. So before I go in and trim, I like to water extensively the day before. Since we did not water these in the night before, I'm not going to prune my boxwoods for right now. We'll save that task for another day. Now we'll take our willow branches out and check in on the roots. And already I slipped because I let some of our water line went down a little bit. And that hurt us more than it helped us. But I'm confident that we can still save, because on this one right here, I mean, it's roots. The roots are literally on fire. I mean, the roots are on fire. Get on up in here and subscribe as you pull in. Yes, honey. The roots. Here's our water line right here. So we had been keeping our water line higher. And so I had some new growth that looked like it was pushing out. I'm not sure. But these actually could really be potted up at this point. Here's our roots. Move the chair out the way. This is what the second one looks like. So it's taking this one a lot longer, but you can see we're starting to get some action. I keep the rubber bands on so I'm not manipulating the roots too much. So I keep them secured. Once I get to the point where I have a little bit more time, we will be potting up our willow branches. But for right now, I have so much going on that I don't want to make or take the chance to where I remove them with how I have them, and then I end up letting them dry out, and then my propagations are just out the window. So for right now, I think it'd be best that I keep it in the water. This would be the level that I will keep my water level at, and I'll put these right here. We'll clean the table off, and then we're going to plant up 2 more arrangements. And I believe that the plants that we're going to use in this arrangement are going to be awesome. And oh, I'm so excited. I am super excited. Let's clean off the table real quick. Trip, because I should have went ahead, potted the arrangements up, just cleaned the table off. So what we're going to do, I'm going to grab the pots that we're going to be using, and then we'll just go ahead and plant them up where they're going to be going in the garden. I'm so excited. This area is really starting to come together nicely. So I figured that it was time to get a little bit of color on top of the table because it's just bare here. And that way, as I begin to work and this area transitions into its intermediate look, then it'll start to make sense. But right now, it's just debris everywhere, stuff on the table that needs to be cleaned off, and the tables are empty. So we'll go ahead and plant up a nice planter to grace the tables here. So we're going in again with terracotta. Both of these containers are terracotta. So we'll just go ahead and start planting. I almost forgot the plants. Here's our plants here. So we have a beautiful columbine, and what I like about these columbine is they're just $5. So this variety right here is a early bird purple white columbine, and they're part sun. This is a perennial, but we're going to use it inside of the container. You can actually leave these in the container depending on what zone you are, and columbine is pretty hardy, so cold hardiness is -30 to 40. So here's the back of the tag. We have some violas, we have some polka dot plants, another viola, and then a hydrangea. So let's start planting these up. All right, container number 1. We have a beautiful hydrangea here, and the way that I did this is I wanted the colors to shine through in both containers, which is why I chose to go with this type of viola versus going with something that had more of an interfuge, because I want to pull out or draw towards the purple that is in our columbine here. Then we have our bright yellow, and all of these colors marry well together. We also tucked in a beautiful polka dot plant, and so as this grows out, we'll let it train and fall down, so it'll be perfect. We are going to use a saucer, so it'll just sit on the table just like this. For our larger planter, now this darling is actually packed full. So we have our beautiful columbine here, and you can see the two-tone in the lavenders is pulling out all of those purples. But do you see our stamens there? They are yellow, hence the reason why we came in and we used a beautiful yellow viola here. We have a polka dot plant, and then our hydrangeas, and of course we use the beautiful viola here. We'll walk this over, and this is where this is going to sit, and I absolutely love that. It's just given. And then this one will go right here on this table, and versus with going with a circle, I wanted to go with a rectangle to really give it some movement, flow, and just kind of just make it a conversation piece.